When she saw me kneeling on the cold tile floor, blood smeared across my cheek, one eye swollen shut, she didn't flinch.
She didn't speak.
Just stared at me like I was a stranger standing in the middle of her life. Then, without a word, she turned and walked out the door. Her brothers stayed behind. They laughed as the door shut. One grabbed the beer I always kept hidden at the back of the fridge, popped it open, drank half, and left the rest. The other made himself comfortable in my chair like he'd earned it. He threw his muddy boots up on the table I'd built myself, like it was nothing. But their laughter didn't last long. They had 30 minutes. That was all. 30 minutes before the lock turned again. Before everything changed. Before they realized I wasn't broken. I was watching. 6 years ago, I met her on a rainy afternoon in a little bookstore. She smiled like the world had never touched her. I admired that. How something so gentle could burn so steady, like a flame refusing to go out no matter how hard the wind blew. I made her my everything. Took things slow. Asked her father for his blessing, even though he looked at me like I'd already failed. I thought I was earning my place. I wasn't. I was being tolerated. She told me early on her brothers were a bit much. Said they were protective. I didn't read between the lines. I figured in time they'd see me as family. But that time never came. So I played nice. Took their digs with a smile. Let the insults roll off. Pretended their cold shoulders were just a phase. I bit my tongue and buried their bitterness under good manners. Until I couldn't anymore. 3 months ago, I got home earlier than usual. She was in the kitchen, phone in hand, and I caught just the tail end of a message thread. It was her brothers.
Talking about me.
She won't believe it until he breaks.
She's almost there.
Just one more push. It hit me fast. The whole picture came together. They were poisoning her slowly, turning her against me drip by drip. What I called care, they called control. My quiet became suspicion. My loyalty? Obsession. They were twisting everything I did, and she was starting to believe it. Not all at once, but gradually. That's how it works. Poison doesn't kill you with one dose. It builds. Then that night came. I walked through the door, and one of them was on me, no warning, no words, just fists. Said I yelled at her. Claimed he was stepping in. Protecting her. And when I looked up from the floor, blood on my face, pain buzzing through my body, I saw her standing there. And I saw it in her eyes. Not love. Not anger.
Doubt.
She didn't ask what happened. She didn't stay to hear it.
I didn't yell.
I didn't swing back. I let it happen. Sat in the pain. Felt it settle into my bones. Tasted every second of the shame. Let them believe they'd won. And then I started. First, I pulled enough money from the account to raise flags. Nothing illegal, just enough to spark questions. I wanted her to feel it, sense the shift. Then I sent out the texts, all of them. Anonymous emails to her job, her new support group, her friends. Every lie they told her. Every manipulation. Every cruel joke about how easy it was to twist her view of me. 2 days later, she stopped taking their calls. But I wasn't done. I filed a report. Quietly. Medical records, police forms, photos of the damage they caused, everything documented, everything dated. I never told her. I didn't need to. The house was mine. Bought before we married. Paid in full. Her name was never on it. And those brothers of hers? They weren't guests. They were squatters. I let them get comfortable. Let them think they had claimed something. Let them stomp through my space like it belonged to them. And when the 30 minutes were up, the lock turned. The police came first. Calm, professional. Right on time. Charges, trespassing, assault, vandalism. All with evidence. All airtight. And then came the real twist. She walked in behind them.
Pale.
Quiet. Watching it all unfold. She had no idea I'd called her to. Didn't see it coming. Those officers escorting her brothers out in handcuffs. Didn't expect them to hand her that folder either.
Mine.
Everything was in there. Texts, photos, timelines, witness statements. The truth laid bare. She turned to look at me, and in that moment, something shifted in her face. Not guilt, not remorse, recognition. The kind that dawns when you finally understand you've been betrayed by the people you believed in. When denial clears and you're left standing in the debris. She asked me just one thing. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't answer. Because if you need to explain who you are to someone, then they never really saw you in the first place. The house is quiet now. The armchair sits empty again. My beer's gone cold. The bruises have faded, but the memories haven't. She walked out that night with nothing but her bag. Didn't glance back. But she left her wedding ring behind, placed carefully on the table like a final punctuation mark. I never moved it. Just stayed where I was, in the same chair she'd found me bleeding in weeks earlier. Only this time, I wasn't shattered. I was whole. People think revenge is all rage and noise, but that's not it. Real revenge is quiet. It's deliberate, like a rope slowly tightening around a web of lies until there's no escaping them. They laughed when I was hurting. They raised their glasses while I suffered. But they overlooked one thing. This is my house. I built it, and I never left. Please like, subscribe, and share this story.